Hey bro, how are you?
Yo, I'm good. Who are you voting for?
Oh, just TMD. Total Minority Death Party.
Is that what it sounds like?
Well, one of their main policies is that they want to outlaw being a minority, punishable by death.
Huh?
I know you're like Asian and black or whatever, but we can still be friends, right? It's just politics at the end of the day. It's just a vote. Chill, man.
Trump has broad immunity for acts taken while he was
In
in office.
Springfield, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the pets.
Stress again, one of the greatest enemies of our nation right now is Ukraine.
Whilst using social media, you've probably noticed a significant increase of podcasts parroting racist or misogynistic talking points being littered all over your feed the last couple of years. This mind-rotting conservative toxic waste has sadly been unavoidable. The names Andrew Tate and Nick Fuentes are most likely recognisable names to all of Gen Z, which is something that would not have been thinkable a couple of years ago. It has become the conservative standard to debate ordinary people and avoid actually debating competent opposition, which is a verbal equivalent of an adult bullying children and being proud of it. Like, are there strong independent men in the room with us now? Ever think it's weird how people like Charlie Kirk or Ben Shapiro will almost exclusively argue with college students and avoid actual informed debaters? Or how channels like Fresh and Fit and the Whatever podcast are set up to be one-sided, so normal people who are not truly informed about certain topics are boiled alive in debates against more informed moderators in hopes of pushing sexist agendas? None of these guys are brave enough to go and talk to her and debate Haley, bro. They will get butchered alive. Make them run the gauntlet of all shit podcasts. Talk to it.
What the fuck?
Impulsive.
Hey, just sitting here with the boys,
And then
wondering what a
the Note
GPU
Boys
is.
one, whatever that's called. The actual BrainRot trifecta. Podcasts like Fresh and Fit are set up to steamroll ordinary people in debates who are not actually that knowledgeable. So it gives off the appearance that these views are correct and are unchallengeable. For people who claim to be anti-LGBTQ+, these guys are pretty happy to glaze and worship other men for everything they do.
I'll never forget it. He's super tall, bro, and like it's super intimidating when he has so many bodyguards around him. And he came in, I was so nervous, but when he stuck his hand out and smiled, I felt safe. Just the way he asserted himself, the way he talked, the way he taught me his way of life, the way he was fearless. I understand why there's a lot of men.
Right-wing political views have become more and more popular recently, embedding themselves right into the mainstream political sphere online. With alt-right views like ethno-nationalism, strict gender roles, anti-globalism and other general anti-liberal ideas that literally strip away your freedoms becoming worryingly acceptable in the mainstream. When just a few years ago, many of these ideologies were contained within the fringes of the internet, caged into psych ward sites like 4chan or small specialised forum sites, but have since exploded onto all mainstream social media platforms. It's no longer a secret that a surprising amount of Gen Z males are conservative, whilst Gen Z females are way more liberal. Multiple studies show similar results across different countries, so there is clearly a common reason for why this is happening across different parts of the world that are facing different struggles. Gen Z males are also statistically in fewer relationships and having sex way less than previous generations at the same age, which is an outcome of the loneliness epidemic and our society shifting to be more online. Whilst these two things are frustrating and understandably wrong, getting sucked down an alt-right rabbit hole online does not solve any of these issues, it perpetuates them. Bro, you really think women are gonna like you if you literally want to strip them of their freedoms? Are you crazy? In the US, an April 2024 study by Pew Research showed the gender political divide between 18 to 29-year-olds. 62% of men lean Democratic whilst 36% lean Republican. For women, 65% lean Democratic, whilst 30% lean Republican. Similar data can be seen in a load of recent studies, but Gen Z, specifically younger Gen Z males, are tending to lean more towards being conservative. Is Gen Z really so susceptible to internet propaganda, considering we literally grew up on the internet? Even with the outcome of the recent US election, some reports show that Gen Z had a surprising number of Republican votes, helping Trump get in for a second term. Obviously, the stereotypical group were the reason Trump won, but it's not a good sign so many young people are so misinformed. We are worse than boomers when it comes to mindlessly believing the things we read, with no proof at all.
You, man. You people are about to start World War III.
But the craziest thing is, it seems that a lot of people have strong opinions about who to vote for, but know nothing policy-wise. Everyone online just regurgitates talking points they have seen on Twitter or Instagram comment sections. Bro, we all see the same stuff. You're proving you know nothing by trying to sound like you do. You just read headlines. Look at the recent Google Trends after Trump got in. So many people were googling, what is a tariff? What is a tariff? You voted and you don't know what a tariff is. But what caused this rise in right-wing ideologies amongst a generation who will not benefit from them? One significant thing recently is the rise of red pill content. The red pill was the beginning of political brain rot for a lot of Gen Z, as these grifters had huge reaches to young online audiences.
Getting invited to parties and losing their virginity, and I spent all night working on my businesses. But just watch, in a couple of months, when I'm gonna be chilling in Dubai and living my dream life, you guys are gonna call me lucky.
So if you know what the red pill is, which you realistically will, this is still an important part of this video. Red pill content, or the manosphere, as it's been so accurately named, is content that is loosely, very loosely, based on self-improvement after believing that women exclusively date rich and attractive guys. So these people claim to promote self-betterment, to be able to do better in life and the dating world. Which sounds mostly positive, right? Wrong. These guys make their careers off misogyny. It's all bait for vulnerable and impressionable people. This whole ideology is just an extension of strong traditionalism, with strong conformity to gender roles and religious values. But weirdly, the people that promote these ideologies are always somehow either selling a scam product or service, or they are literal criminals. Wait, so you're telling me the literal criminals and misogynists don't care about their fans, and they're willing to scam them? What? Whether it's the Tates, Fresh and Fit, Rollo Tomassi, Justin Waller, or adjacent figures like Nick Fuentes, Jordan Peterson, or Jake Shields, these people are all part of one big scam, preying on vulnerable young men to watch their content and buy it into their self-improvement courses. Sadly, desperation to improve oneself leads these people into paying for these stupid, pointless products. Like, remember when Andrew Tate had a camp where men would pay to train MMA for a couple days before going into a fight with an actual trained professional MMA fighter? All the random guys who paid for the course got smoked. Like, they learned nothing. You paid to get beaten up. The guy you idolized scammed you into a course where you literally got beaten up for him to make content for, and he's still your hero. These guys would literally let Andrew Tate cuck them. They'd pay for Andrew Tate to cuck them, and they'd be happy about it. That's a level of brainwashing that's been done to these people. Let me pay to get beaten up, this will help me get women. It's so sad. It's so grossly ironic that this ideology is also called the red pill. A lot of these red pill grifters sadly have the Kanye effect.
I see good things about Hitler also.
But on losers exclusively, where anything they say or do brings crazy traction online, helping them expand their influence. A lot of these guys have moved their content from being red pill content,
or Hulk Hogan with a pussy,
into being religious traditional conservatism instead. This impact has been reflected through many online trends, including course sellers, red pill podcast clones, and fake Christians appearing everywhere. I find the fake Christianity so disgustingly cringe, by the way. You're faking being Christian just to meet right the Tates, who are literally proven to be committing multiple sins that directly oppose his religious claims. They literally own casinos and became rich through pimping women out and abusing them. You are literally the victim of a scam if you believe them. Bro, there's countless things they have done that prove they are the embodiment of greed and a borderline evil. But I'm sure most people watching this video know that. Their brand image is literally held together by fucking ice lolly sticks and tape, bro. One Google search destroys their entire business. But sadly, their influence has led to more younger guys being brainwashed into trad conservatism and other anti-woman ideologies, which in turn opens the floodgates with people spreading these values to others and also voting conservative, as America has recently seen. But how did this type of content reach the masses?
It's incredible. And I'll say this too, just because I got to double down on that.
Twitter. Elon Musk is not only Soylent and Reddit incarnate, but he is also a digital terrorist. His purchase of Twitter is one of the craziest reversals ever seen, with Twitter switching from being notoriously radically left to now being extremely right-wing. The average post on Twitter now is just someone sharing Russian propaganda. Here's a list of significant things that Elon has done since buying Twitter. Elon made the algorithm display his own personal tweets to everyone at the top of their feed. He often shares misinformation, meaning every single user gets lies or propaganda promoted on their feed. Elon has insisted it is a free speech platform,
an inclusive arena for free speech,
but has personally censored content he disagrees with. He banned multiple journalists from the New York Times, CNN, and the Washington Post due to them being critical of his actions in business and his personal life. Elon actively reduced content moderation. This has led to a huge increase in misinformation and lies being spread, whilst also perpetuating hate speech and extremist views, forming echo chambers on the site. But why has Elon done all of this? He has obviously seen an opportunity to not only influence politics so his favoured party can win, but he is also trying to appeal to Trump so that he can get a position of power within the government, which at the time of making this video has literally just happened, and he's called it the Doge Department. The Doge Department. Am I going mental? He is a 10-year-old stuck in 2012. How are American politics a real thing? Real people voted for this. No male on this planet has more soylent in their gut and more estrogen in their blood than Elon. But Elon was clearly lobbying with Trump. No one in the government should own private businesses. Like, they literally have policy influence, and it's obviously going to be profit motivated if they can change policies, which will only lead to bad things, by the way. Elon is actually the first American oligarch. When you couple greed-driven people like Elon with power-driven people like Trump, it usually ends poorly. Trump has repeatedly hinted that he will have a third term and that people won't have to vote anymore.
It'll be fixed, it'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians.
He's also done endless awful things, both legally and socially. He literally incited an insurrection. He insisted the election was stolen for months, in hopes to prime his followers to stop the steal, in his own words. During a speech on Jan 6th, he said the following quotes.
Want to see our election victory stolen by emboldened radical left Democrats, which is what they're doing? We will never give up, we will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved. We will stop the steal.
I need my wet, tight trussy eaten from the back. Real talk on tour. Please, I've been a good boy, please.
His words were perceived by many as encouraging violence, using loaded language like fight, and urging his followers to take action at the Capitol to stop Congress from certifying Biden's win. He told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by months before the coup. He also told Mike Pence to do the right thing.
Because if Mike Pence does the right thing, we win the election.
And not certify the results, and called him a coward for not overturning the election. He also watched the attack live for 3 hours before publicly saying anything against it, obviously hoping the coup would succeed. This election, before many states had started counting their actual votes, Trump was already tweeting about how Pennsylvania had election fraud, despite him literally winning Pennsylvania. Trump committed 34 different proven felonies, but were all overturned when he was given presidential immunity, as they were official acts. I'm gonna vote for criminal! Trump tried to rig the election in 2020 by sending slates of fake electors in several battleground states that had voted for Biden, hoping to replace legitimate electors with pro-Trump ones. Trump has also set up charities just to steal from them. The Trump Foundation was a private charity set up in 1987. However, in 2016, Trump was found to have spent $370,000 of the money raised on things like self-portraits and sports memorabilia. But the liberals want to take the guns, and Kamala can't decide she's Indian or black. The most concerning part about the constant rain of lies is that they're so easily disprovable if you literally do 1 minute of research. This huge web gets torn down just by actually not being a brainlet whose reality is determined by tweets and headlines. Whilst typing the script, Trump has appointed RFK Jr. as Health Secretary and Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. RFK Jr. is hard anti-vax and denies HIV progresses into AIDS. He also claims he had a brain parasite that ate most of his brain. And Tulsi Gabbard is known for spouting pro-Russian talking points in many different topics.
A $40 billion bill to escalate this proxy war against Russia.
With some even believing she's a Russian plant that has made her way into the government. But with all things considered, the past few years have been awful globally, with COVID destroying economies everywhere and isolating many people. Everyone was forced to become terminally online, unless you wanted to be a societal dropout and know nothing about pop culture, and sadly, things have remained that way. The isolation of the pandemic has had lasting effects on people's ability to socialise, as they missed out on key developmental years. Life seems harder to progress in compared to what previous generations had, so naturally, people are frustrated and will shift to more radical ideologies in hope of fixing their situation, whether it's a right or wrong thing to do.